We have discussed about the HRM, what is the concept of the HRM, what are the functions are there, and what type of environment is there. And block two, subsequently, we have discussed about the planning and your job analysis, job design, and then recruitment and selection procedures, and socialization and mobility. Now, after that, now we have to see the what are the employees are working in organizations. So their performance has to be recorded throughout half yearly or annually. That some things are there, so that we can evaluate in the end of the year or in between also. Uh, the things are moving as per the directions or not. But if they are improvement, they are in improvement or not. And at the same time, what are the objectives set by the organizations, objective of the individuals, and objective of the HR, all are in the same line of directions or not. So the unit number 8 are discussing about the personal appraisals, where it will be discussed what is the performance versus steps, what is the procedure, everything will be there. And unit number 9, that is your career development. So what are the employees are working, and what are the career growth, and their in future, what are the development are set it basically for the management, what they actually do, organization wants for them, and the individual growth. All these things are coming under the your career development. Not only in the initial day, I found this starting to the end of the service, up to the retirement. So everything has to be clear in picture. So in the career development part. So then unit number 10 are talking about the training and development. This is also one of the major part of the HRM, because to increase the productivity, to enhance the his capability, skill development, and challenges of the for the new technologies. So all these things are coming under the training and development. Until and unless training is not there, this is a continuous process. You have to develop, you have to train them so that they can easily, confidently they can work this, and the satisfaction level will be there. So training and development unit is also very important. Now unit number 11 are talking about the compensation and rewards management. Because as you know, people are working definitely end of the month. Uh, there's some required some of their physical needs. Some of the money is involved in there. So the work and money are parallelly should be there. So that type of compensation package should be there, so that employee can be happily work, and they can fulfill their family part, this own development, whatever the things needs are to be fulfilled. So compensation is also a very important part that we have to discuss, and that is in the unit number 11. And at the same time, the reward management also to be there. What are the benefits company can give for the recognition, and all these things are in the unit number 11. So this is the way block 3. The outlines are, I'm just giving you some of the outlines, particular unit, the contents of these. Now we have to proceed for the uh, performance appraisals. What is the definition of your personal appraisals? Personal appraisals helps organizations to determine how employees can help to achieve the goals of the organizations. So, from the organization side, basically we're talking about the personal appraisal helps. This is the process. This is the, you can say, the some tools are there. It will help for organizations to determine the employees can achieve the certain goals. And organizations are established to achieve certain objectives. Achievement of the goals or targets depends upon the performance of the individual employees. Another way, it actually now from this angle, now you can quietly understand that it is a very important, and to What extent the employees have been successful at their jobs or achievements at their goals. It has to be um, uh, end of the that has to be obtainable. So in order to give to or in order to achieve all these things, the performance appraisals is very important as a part of your HR. Now the your objectives. The performance appraisal has a number of specific objectives. These are given below to review past performance, then to assess the training needs, to help develop the individuals, to audit the skills within an organization, to set targets for future performance, and to identify the potential for the promotions. So there are listed some of the objectives are there. Um, Our personal appraisal systems will will be formulated. The objectives are to be like this. And here I see the some very important objectives are if I prioritize the objectives here. So first things is very important here help to help development individuals. I think it should be a first objective should be to help develop individuals. Other things, okay. Other objectives also to be important, definitely. So, and it will help for the another important is to set targets for the future performance. Even though all these objectives can't be achieved, or at least two or three achieved objectives has been achieved, then will be good enough. Because so in the day, in the last day, we have to see the individuals are developed. That is the main thing. And what are the target for the future performance? That is also we can get from this, uh, from here. Specific from the end of the day, when you are see the performance report, basically performance report, from there you can abstract things. What will be the future performance? So, okay. So now you see the process, the performance appraisal. The process are given is just like some of the change systems. First, you establish the performance standards. Some of the standards you have to establish it. Then you see after that it will come to as input the measurement of the actual performance based on these standards. Because based on the standards means what are the significant, what are the variables, or these at par the standard or not. So that may be a number of format. There's maybe 3, 4, 5 standard format for different level purposes where the performance is required, which level. So that standard are to be measured. How far deviances, differences are there and not, that has to be measured. Then after this measurement, what are the result outcomes? That is communicate the performance expectations. That has to be communicated because it is individual matters. Then has to be counseling or some of the discussions required needed. Where the expectation from the company side, individual has to be discussed. Then finally, after the communication, what are the outcomes from here? That comparisons of the performance standard. Because what are the things it is really which were really required the standard, vice versa. That how far you are lagging or how far you are leading. All the points has to be calculated here by the competence. Then finally, for the correction actions, for corrective actions, or if any changes required from your training, whatever the needs are required, basically individual performance, the candidates then can be achieved from here. And finally, again, it is the reformulated, re-standards. It may require, sometimes it may require to changes the standard itself also, because consecutively it is not performing. For example, suppose for example, for the exam point of view, Suppose the question papers are already as per the standard, they clear set it. This type of questions should be there based on the syllabus or all these things. And it is at par of the other universities also. Depending on the situation, maybe any environment condition, anything that the performance levels are after when you are comparing the things, it is not at par. Most of the students are not getting that grade, not achieve the grade, which may be any reasons. Whatever the reasons are there, that reasons can be corrected. Things the good type of question paper maybe changes or something. So that some sort of outcome will come accordingly. Again, it will be refit. So it will refit the things. So that is basically you see it is here just like a process, and it is a continuous process, continuous evaluation, and your modification is going on. So that is the same thing in the company in the operations also. In every individual has to be follow or to be pass on through these other exercise also. Who has done all these things? HR. So HR people are responsible for that. They are doing these things. So that way, the personal appraisal are very important now from the here itself, because you can pinpoint at the individual's problems where they are facing the problems. It may be organization side, it may be individual side. That has to be sorted. And until and unless you are not this process, you can identify the things. So go to the next slide. Importance and use of performance appraisals. Now I think slowly you can understand what are the importance in terms of personal importance. A lot of information, a lot of outcomes are coming from this report, personal report. So it can be used for the career advancements. So definitely it will help for career advancements. It can be used for the transfer also, because sometimes some of the projects you require some chief manager or manager or maybe some higher post, capable persons is required who can handle the project nicely, individually can do it. So during the transfer also it can be seen personal what is his personal report, how he has done. They are really able to that has to be ensured. Basically, you have to ensure before sending that going for the transfer that persons are really capable or not. So that can be an important part from your applications. Another is provides guidelines for the training and development. That's also the because training and development, there are so many different type of training program out there that will come in the training program, training and development portions. There I can we can elaborate the things. So type of training or nature of training, how many days are required, everything it can be provided as guidelines. Encourage the employees to work hard, because if these employees awareness, I mean after the in this process you can say if we go back to these things, if the coming here, what are the comparisons, and you can identify this is the lagging or leading, whatever the lagging, what are the shortfalls. That shortfalls you can discuss with the employees and encourage him to go for hard works. If the employees are leading, some of the areas is showing the growth, then that also has to be encouraged so that he can go do more hard work to perform more. And if he is not at par the objectives set in place, even though you have to both the thing plus point and minus, minus and plus, both the things has to be discussed with the employees. So for encouraging the things, if you do good things, you have to give a recognize this, you give authority, you precise things, and yes, you have done very well, but however you can improve more. Some of the areas he is lagging and not performing well, that part also has to be discussed with him and how to encourage. So that things are really important. Performance appraisal facilities determination of the incentives. Based on this, it is the linking of your incentives also. Project linking incentives. If you are doing good job, conjugately you are giving your productivity is more, doing a good job, and then some sort of incentives you will get it. So that everything are you getting from the personal appraisals. So importance. We are talking about the importance. So That means personal reference is very much needed. It also helps for the development of the organization also. So overall development is also you are getting from the personal reference systems. So now coming to benefits of the an effect as per system can be we can sum up the in three categories. For the organization side, improve performance throughout the organizations. That is also true. Improvement in the tasks performed. What are the tasks has been set by the organizations in every levels? Yes, that performed, or what are the improvement is there or not, that you can, if based on this basically here actually if the tasks or activities are likely to be changes or not anything or keeping as it is, so everything can be same from the organization you can get it. So identification of ideas of the improvement, you can lot of ideas can be come up from this report. Expectation and the long-term plans, training and development needs, where the training and development is required or not. It may not be all the places, every level may not be required training and development, but some of the area are required. So that also to be identified. The culture of continuous improvement and success can be created and maintained. People with potential can be identified. Here is also very important things, potentials. So until and unless you are not going this process, this appraisal system process, you cannot identify, you cannot trace the potential where it is hidden. So some sort of the hidden sources come up with a very good level of things. So all these things are very important part and beneficial part of the personal appraisal systems. Now benefits from the appraiser side. Appraisers, appraisee. Secondly, now first is the organization point of view. That part is there. Now, second is appraisers. To opportunity to develop, identification of ideas for improvements, opportunity to link team and individual objectives. Here, actually, what happened as a seniors, you can identify your subordinate, how best he is. He really is good. He become a good leader or not, or good manager. So you can put him in as a team leader. So that also is an opportunity. You can see any individual objectives also. So there you can have some clear picture. It will be a transparent nature of things. The transparent things are coming. Opportunity to clarify, opportunity to revitalize the target if the things are changes, equal changes that they can prioritize first, second, third, whatever things. That also can be target. You can target in that way. So these all are opportunity we are getting from this appraisal or benefits. What are here we can say. So all means of forming a more productive relationship with the staff based on mutual trust and understanding. So here is very important things, because when you know your subordinates, what they are doing, how their best skill, ability, everything. When you know, then better you can put them, and your relationship also to be must, and you can trust also, because last year performance based on this, everything are now in the open. Now it is already totally transparent, and the picture is here. You can figure it out. Still, your decision making process will be perfect. So that way, the trust is also will be improved. Now, from the appraisal side, for the appraisal, the following benefits would have: increased motivation, definitely, increased job satisfactions, and increased sense of personal values. You feel, yes, last year I have done, I get a award, I get a increment. So it will his personal value will feel increased, sense of personal value increase. At the same time, your satisfaction also it is coming in mind, and motivation, no doubt motivation will be there, and all these things I will reflect it to other employees also. They will also feel okay. I should also as some sort of competitive environment will picked up. So the situation will be grow. So that way everybody will be benefited. So performance appraisal methods. There are so many methods are there. It is there. Critical incident methods, checklist method, graphic rating method, forced choice method, behaviorally and coordinating. There are different methods are there. Individual ranking methods, pair comparisons, management by the last is management by objectives. That I will discuss about it. So there are so many methods are there. Management by objectives. Here, it is a process that converts organizational objectives into individual objectives. Just mind it, see the sentences, what the meaning of the sentences. Management organizational objectives are slowly converted as a converts as a individual objectives. So it can be thought of the consisting of four steps: goal setting, action planning, self, and periodic. So the differences will be less. Your organizational objectives and your individual objectives are almost the same platform and the same plan. Then definitely, whatever your goal setting and action, it will be 100% will be getting. So you have to create the right situation so that individual objectives and the organizational are to be same. It may not be same because individual will be different conditions, different priorities there in individuals. So somehow we have to explore how to individual objectives can be possible to convert in the organizational objectives or vice versa. So then it will be win-win situations and you will get a good product. Further, so many processes are there, 360-degree appraisal systems are there to achieve all these things for MBO, implementation basically. So a feedback process involving collecting the perceptions about a person's behavior and impact of that behavior on his boss, colleagues, fellow members of the project teams, and even in the internal external customers and suppliers also. Here actually what happened, that's why it is a 360-degree appraisals. And normally what happened, I can give you some of the examples, actually what are the process and the multinational companies and most of the companies, what the procedure systems. Normally there is some sort of one booklet about this, that is a appraisal systems. So that booklet, first there are so many part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, there are so many parts. And the first part, basically employee has to write all these things. That is a declaration by the employee part. So he has to write 1 pages, what he has done or everything or not. So that is one of the parties was he has to declare that this much I have assigned this work, such and such things, and I have done this. And if he during this period, certain it will be decided from this year to this. The budget normally in the budget year, January, December, or sometimes April to March next year, March. That is different. Particular the span of one year. What you have done? Some of the companies are taking a mid-terms also. And I mean after the 6-month one present systems, they are collecting the data collecting, and then again the after end of the year again, just like a you can say the first semester, second semester, or first term, second term, mid-term, whatever the things. So this is the way they are collecting the all the things are there. Then after the second part, first part employee will written, second part controlling officers is just immediately his boss who's working with them day to day every day. He has to endorse the things. He has to endorse yes, whatever he has written, my subordinate, what he has written, he is perfectly okay. And same time, same jobs which I have assigned, time to time has given. If any special he has seen during this period, if he feel this type of capacity he has shown some of the things, apart from his work, he can recommend some of the things also. And that recommendation will be considered for the promotion, basically. or it will be keep a record for that. The review officer will be there, another pages, at the third page maybe. There he have to see what the employee has written, what the his controlling boss has written. He has to again evaluate the things. If he feel something discrepancy or something is mismatch, he can identify the things and he can call, he can discuss the things, why it is the difference. Otherwise, he can, if you feel okay, he can forward the things, he can further recommendation, he can give you further recommendation, or endorse the thing, everything. Yes, it is everything is perfectly okay. What is it? Then HOD, HOD, the head of the department was the authority to sign these personal appraisal systems. He has approved the things. Whatever the written by the employee, then here things and everything is written. So then finally it will go to the HR. Now another part is the necessity degree. He has to, apart from his process, he has to identify externally and internally the customers and suppliers viewpoint also is a particular employee, how he is dealing with the customers, how best he is and with the supplier, their viewpoint also they are taking what the phone or something, and they can observe also because nowadays everywhere the CCTV is there, employee are working, what the way they are behaving, even there, that part is also crucial. Internally, maybe you are very good, you are performing very good, you're good tuned with the control officer and review officer, they are giving you 100% perfect numbers, outstanding, everything is good. But still, another area is there, how best you are with the customers. What the ways. Basically, those who are in the service sector, they are very important. How nicely you have dealt with the customers and your behavior patterns and timely completion of the work, everything with the suppliers, that part is also required. So then it will be totality, and that's why the 360-degree appraisal systems we are now so far we are calling. Then there is no loopholes. But I mean, all the area it is covered. Everything has been covered. It is all the total information. Basically, it's a collecting of the information, no? Because personal information, true factual things has been written. What about the things, right or wrong? It is a good thing, bad thing, whatever the thing has to be recorded in the appraisal systems. So benefits. Now the benefit of the 360 appraisals. Now from this explanation, now I can got it. The individual and team and as a manager, everybody will benefit because individual also know, okay, this is the report has come, this is my drawback. I have to just, the area has to be improved. He can also agree. He's supposed to be agreed on these things because he's already that viewpoint has taken by the customers and the supplier also. You cannot deny also these things. So he has to improve these things as a team and definitely from the organization also. So that's why it's very popular nowadays. Everywhere it is. So now performance counseling. The main objective of the performance counseling is to help the employees to overcome the weakness and is reinforce his strength because after the 360 appraisal systems, then you can, what are the report you have, then you can point it out what are the employees plus point, what are the employees negative points. But normally at the time of counseling, there's a counseling, you have to, three things has to be followed. What are the things? There are 3 steps for the counseling, performance counseling. It's very important things. First, when you are discussing the employee, if you, whatever your discussion, you can divide into 3 parts. The first part, you have to precise the employee. You have to tell him what are the positive things, what are the things he has done, really nice, good things, everything you have to first tell. Don't say immediately in the first step all this negative part. Actually, it is not a negative part. Maybe willingly, maybe unwillingly, maybe unknowingly he has done. Maybe the knowledge he don't have. Awareness is not there. It's not his fault. Awareness is not there. So then after that second part, you have to say, however you have done very well, good job throughout the year, but some of the area you have to improve. Not to say the wrong word, mistake, wrong, this type of word, the demotivating word. Don't say with this employee, never. You always say See, you have done very well. However, this is the area you have done, but you have to be improved. You have to overcome. You have to overcome. You have to improve. This type of language you have to very carefully have to say, so that employee should feel happy. He'll be immediately accept his fault. Otherwise, if you dominate, I mean, this type of word if you say, then he may or may not be agreed. That the relation will be disturbed. So you have to see, because only the controlling boss and review officers, those who are closely associated with the employee or some good person of the HR, he can only counseling. Counseling is very soft skill, very good skill is there. Basically. You have to very skilled way you have to discuss with things. Then third part, you have to say remedies. All this action you have to given, you have to project things. Yeah, I have a solution for you. How to solve this, how to overcome it. Don't worry, I am always with you as a HR person, always with you, and definitely you can do it. That type of motivation you have to give, that strength you have to give it. What are these weakness? And you have to tell that this is the solution. Okay, some training program will for you who are programming these things. I will be sent for you some of the training programs. You can definitely work on the situation. You have to learn more, and that will in the next session and then next year you will be perform better and better. So this is the way the counseling, performance counseling is different. So ultimately, the report is given, personal appraisal is giving a manifold, lot of things, windows will be open, because you see, as a company, small company nowadays, it's big company, small company, everywhere the personal appraisal system is there, isn't it? Because for the growth of the organizations. In this sense, it is a developmental process where the supervisor and the subordinate discuss the past performance with a view to help of the subordinate improve and become more effective in the future. So I think it is now understand what I mean to say. So we have to very tactfully have to manage your subordinates so that he should not feel regret. He should not feel any regret in mind. Okay, no problem, because you can do it. I am also helping you. It is not any bad remarks. So this is the way you have to tackle it. Now it has come. The time has come. Earlier those days is gone. Now it has come. Otherwise, if you want to retain your employees, you have to come down. You have to very positive way. You have to discuss with him. Otherwise, good persons who are talented people will leave the organizations. So it's very careful about these things. The career development is a function of human resource management, which aims at providing the opportunities for people to develop their careers. Career planning and succession planning are two major parts of the career development. Training development plays a major role in career development. In this need to have to discuss about the career development and your planning successions and your explaining details we have to show you. So career development, career planning and succession planning. Now we have to go for discussions. Career development. The career is viewed as a sequence of position occupied by the persons during the course of his lifetime. Normally we are talking about now he is engineer, after that he will be senior engineer, then he will be deputy manager, he is a manager, then like this, finally CEO of the company. So this is the way is the growth. The career path is like this. Everywhere, based on this position, normally we are thinking about it. We are viewed that way only. Oh, okay. He is a general manager. Oh, good, very good. So position sometimes give it your standpoint where you are and how much you value your lifetime achievements. But another part is there. Career may also be viewed as mulligan or changes in the value, attitude, and motivation that occur as a person grows. Because you may be a good manager, maybe a good general manager, but your attitude or value is not at par the company objectives. That type of maybe your self motivation, but you cannot motivate the others, maybe due to some any reasons. So that also are very to be considered. So then, if you both the things you have, then the career. So that's why the organization has to see. he has to keep in mind both the things. It's a lifetime achievement where you have to focus on this. At the same time, you have to focus on his value, attitude, motivation. Parallelly, it should be run both the things to be considered. So for the career development purpose, if something is shortfalls, you have to provide the things. So as the HR manager, you have to careful about both the things, career development, career viewed as a sequence of position, and there is also your value, attitude. Both the things are thoroughly required. Both the things are required as a human being for the when you are really older. Career planning. Career planning essentially means helping the employees to plan their career in terms of their capacities within a context of the organization. So based on this, we can plan the things, how much you should be capable of this job. You have to comply. It should take 2 days or 48 hours or 72 hours for this work. He is really he is performing or not. So based on this, you have to plan this. You have to planning these things. So from the job analysis or job distribution on job things, you can plan and what capacity he has fulfilling or not. All these parts. So it is described as developing the organizational system, career movement and growth opportunities from the point of entry of the individual and employee in their point of visa or retirement. So from the entry to retirement, total growth opportunity, are to be projected, are to be organizations in the organizational systems. Everything should be as far as pertaining to career movement. That it should be more clear. The entry point, what type of opportunity will be there, and at the time of the when he has retired, what will be the growth? That should be a picture that we somewhere the employee should know initially itself. So, okay, now I'm entry level. Now is a executive. Then after that, after 5 years I will be in some senior positions, and in the end of after 15 years I will be a position of service. As for the IS, the end is IS officer immediately ATM or something, district magistrate or something. Then finally their last is secretary, some power secretary, some other. So that is the last career. That means that's up to this point he has to reach. So the planning should be there. So it is generally understood to be a management technique for mapping out the entire career of your young employees in high skilled supervisory and managerial positions. So what will be the positions that has to be mapped? So everything has to be mapped. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Next, we can go for the component of the career development. Here you see career development. Now, career development program. There are some internal your assessment program, the career opportunities, and employees need and opportunity. That is your part of your program. Now here process non-activities. Now this is the program. Now this program has to be processed. Then only you can their organizations HR inventory, because this is one of the activity area and process you have to see it. Then your potential employees potential. This you can get it from your appraisal systems. From here you can get it. From the appraisal system you can get his potentials. Then training and development program. You have to set for these things for the career development, training and development. Then age balance and career path. Suppose in the 30 or 40 years you have some different type of career path. Those who are in the computer or young, there should be another path. So depending is the capability, and the age is also one of the factors. Those who are above 40 years, algorithm, different type of training program. Basically the module has to be changed so that it should be understandable. They can understand the things, not very criticality, the critical area they cannot understand the thing. So this another way you have to think about it. The review of career development plan action. Now you have to review all these things. Whatever the things that you decided, you have to plan it. Then again has to be reviewed by the, if any modification or some slight changes are required before implement the things. Before implementing, you have to review all these things. Then career counseling also important. Suppose which area you are likely to be, you have to discuss the things. He is really feel happy or not. You are saying just like you abruptly or don't send things in the training program. It has been observed in the training program. Suppose there are 30 participants. All the participants are not actively involving. I mean, they are not participating fully because they are reluctant. I don't know, just my name is nominated, saying I'm not interested in this training program. I don't know how it has happened. That should not be there. So that's why the review part and career counseling part is there. Exactly should be both ways should be understand. You have to listen the employees also what he want actually, what type of training he needs, and your based on this performance, your present difference, by the discussion and counseling, you can sort it out the things so that when you are nominated the persons, they should happily do the training program and they can learning process, and this they can then only they can participate full-heartedly. Heartedly they have to pitching the things and they learn. So this is the different component part is there, and this is the structure. Like this. Now limited some of everything limitation is always be there. It is not easy to implement a career planning process in organizations. It has its own difficulties and problems, like it does not suit a very small organizations. May not be possible because your manpower is shortage. Frequently they are leaving the organizations because in small company they cannot hold up employees in long term. So some difficulties are there. There should be opportunities for vertical mobility in career. In the career planning, always this part is always required. Vertical mobility should be there because then in certain period of time, then out of 10 employees, at least 2 or 3 employees should be promoted to the higher levels. Some hierarchy or levels should be in the vertical. Horizontally, suppose the same level of position, 7 years, 10 years, or 15 years working in the same conditions, same level, there's no mobility, no transfer, nothing, no higher positions, then it will be getting, the problem. So there should be opportunities for vertical mobility in the career has to be bigger in reality. So that part also to be things. So this is basically all the limitation part that is there. Sometimes you cannot possible to do it. That is the part. Career planning is not effective, not an effective management technique for a large number of HR who work on a shop floor, particularly for those who are illiterate, less educated, apart from job, like there is really this problem because supply is abundant, you cannot know, and their uncertainty is there because suppose you have trained 300 people or 400 people, but after 2 months, out of that 200 people is leaving this organization. So where the huge soft floor personnel there and illiterate basically there. So that is some sort of problem is there. Growth expectation of the members and family is a family concern produce adverse results because those who are family oriented things. Since the members of the family expected to move, so that is the problem because you have the manager, he has a son of something, so after some day he is going to the foreign assignment, so a lot of problems are there. You can restrict the things. They are career planning is very tough job. Succession planning, you have to keep it for to fill the gaps basically. Succession planning is an ongoing process. Identify the necessary competencies. The manager then work on the foreign assignment of employees in order to ensure continuity stick on the leadership. They are critical. Career planning, basically in the critical positions. Suppose Succession planning management. You have to middle management people to fill the gaps. Other departments. Succession planning is an ongoing process identify the necessary competencies should be prepared for challenges, hold over in order to ensure continuity. So they are critical. Career planning, basically the critical position. Suppose succession planning management. You have to middle manage people to fill the gaps. Other departments. Succession planning is an ongoing process. Immediately next day, prepare for challenges, hold over in order to ensure continuity. So they are careful about career planning. Basically the critical position. Suppose succession planning management. You have to middle manage people to fill the gaps. Succession planning is an ongoing process. Immediately next day, prepare for challenges, hold over in order to ensure continuity. So they are careful about career planning. Basically the critical position. Succession planning management. You have to middle manage people to fill the gaps. Succession planning is an ongoing process. Immediately next day, prepare for different expansion or expanding expanding There are some other areas also. What is the short term? why but the important of the now training is essentially employees of inexperienced some of the labor class require details and discussion that people have not the work also for the short work effectively to the minimum of the production minimum of waste of spoil and to reduce the quality. Now, different functions are there, situations are there where the techniques change. So, first changing techniques in the production, suppose new machines, new automation machines are coming, you're in the factory. So, even you see in the home appliances also, there are a lot of changes are there, washing machine, refrigerator, new features. Even in the home also they are coming, the people are coming, they did the installation, they are giving some training also in the family members, how to operate it, mostly see the water supply, if the situation will come, give it some education, then you have to give a complaint, customer care. So you see, fast changing of the total growing, the similar technology and changes go fast. Training how to operate. Old employees need another thing, old employees they are reluctant to give some education. Mind is not going faster as the earlier because they are already habituated or comfort zone. They are working in last 10 years, 15 years, work pattern. They are changing some sort of old employees. So they are related to sophisticated tools. They don't know how to use it. So old employees are facing a problem. So different type of training also to be prepared for old employees training so that they can handle the understand that awareness. So like now let's see training so all they are describing and methods can be broadly on-job training, off-job methods are there. That is all are I think traditionally things everybody knows. So on-job training is what is being offline particular things. In fact, some things are factory oriented tests are there. You can go there in the factory, you can learn the thing, and again you come back to the your organization. Sometimes some of these things are products are coming from the abroad, or some things are coming from the component are coming from the in-house within India. So you have to train the employees from there itself, factory experience they can get, and again come back. That is the way you can equip your employee so that when this product will come and commission, and your manpower can handle that system. You need to go for the service, go for service contract. So that type of factory test is also training is also required. So all these are coming under this on-job training. People are sending to abroad also for learn the subject. The responsibility for the training. If you have realized that the training is quite when they start can done single department, right? In fact, total responsibility for the training has to be shared alone because shared it because one particular department HRD cannot do. So everybody has to be involved. That means that your top management and other beneficiary department, finance, productions, what else? Everybody has to be join that. Then only you can derive some of the outlines for training plan. Before that, preparing the training plans and programs, you have to have discuss with the other departmental head, and then only can you approve the training budget. So this is responsibility has to be shared. Basically, here the responsibility has to be shared before finalizing the training programs. There are various areas there. There are seven main areas are there. There are training, evaluations, and more attention is required. One is the pre-training factors. There is the preparation, learning, motivations, expectations, training, curriculum should be there. These all are self-explanatory. Need not to discuss very much about this because, as you know, training management areas, restrictions, training facility and other facilities are there. How to manage the training program? That is the things. What type of one thing I can say you are things. The study material this is very important. The time of training because study material should be comprehensive where language should be very simple language should be there so that the participant or the employee can understand easily. And another thing is before start the training program, all the material has to be sent to particular the participant those who are already nominee. 15 days before they should reach this, they should get all that materials so that they can go through this before coming to training program. This is very important. Nowadays, it may not be possible sometimes, but you keep in mind, then otherwise, in the same day it has happened, training program is starting from tomorrow. When the participants are coming in the seat, that time material are distributed. I have seen lot of places, but it should not be. At least before 1 week or 10 days before, they should be ready with the materials. What, which are what are the topics are likely to be taught, likely to be discussed, like in the training program. That program they should be know, material should be readily available before the start of the program. So this is the way they are training and learning, climate training should be there, should be effective. Trainer also to be very effective. Then these things, the change of the behavior, you have to some discipline you have to maintain it. Focus on the training. Can be arranged for them. So those are working important. So this way you can reduce his obsolescence, you can update it, even for the updation programs. Another thing about translating the business strategy, training terms successfully implemented. There are two ways. Translating the business strategy and the business strategy in indicators. So this is the help for strategy formulation purposes. Both the things you have to keep in mind. The training is for your purposes. Compensation is also one of the part contributing to the organizational effectiveness. Salary structures and all these things should be attractive. Pay package should be good. Then it will be they can then retain the competent employees. If the compensation package is